Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Namaskar Chakshurmidamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Once. Chakshurmidamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhuveshware Bhaktivedanta Swami Nandana Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyamati Pashad Vishwani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauri Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare Krishna. So we'll start with 174, chapter 1. Rūpa Gosvāmī, Ms. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, second time. It is even impudent for me to open my mouth before you. Then, having said this, he recited the introductory verse of Lalita Madhava. So we saw how Rūpa Gosvāmī is writing 2 dramas, right? Who came in his dream and told him to write 2 dramas? Satyabhama. And later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also confirmed this, that the Krishna in Vrindavan is different from Krishna in Mathura and Dwaraka. The verse is, the beautiful moonlight glories of Mukunda give distress to the lotus-like faces of the wives of the demons and to the race breast, which are like gleaming Chakravaka birds. Those glories, however, are pleasing to all his devotees, who are like Chakora birds. May those glories forever give pleasure to all of you. So why Krishna is called Mukunda? Krishna's another name is Mukunda. Why?
He is the giver of liberation.
Yeah, Mukti. Mukti Pradadam Sarvesham Vishnurevana Samshya. Because he gives Mukti, he is called Mukunda. Nobody else can give Mukti. The demigods can't give Mukti. Why?
They themselves are not Muktas.
Yeah, they themselves are. Brahma Bhuvanalo Naravartino Arjuna, right? Mamupete the Kaudaya, Punarjanmana Vidyate, even they are entitled to birth and death. When Srila Ramananda Rai further inquired about the second introductory verse, Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī was somewhat hesitant, but nevertheless he began to recite. So you can see here Ramananda Rai is Vishaka Sati and Rūpa Manchari, Rūpa Gosvāmī. Yeah, they're having a discussion. The moonlight supreme personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Mother Sachi, have now appeared on earth to spread devotional love of himself. He is the emperor of the Brahmana community. He can drive away all the darkness of ignorance and control the mind of everyone in the world. May that rising moon bestow upon us all good fortune. Okay, so Krishna can drive away all the ignorance, right? And also he's the rising moon, Chandra. Now, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was inwardly greatly pleased when he heard this verse, externally he spoke as if angry. Your exalted poetic descriptions of the mellows of Lord Krishna's pastimes are like ocean of nectar. But why have you put a false prayer about me? It's like a drop of detestable alkali. Sri Ramananda objected, it's not alkali at all. It's a particle of camphor. He has put into the nectar of his exalted poetic expression. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never likes someone say he is Krishna or Vishnu. He always closes his ears and run from there. Avatar nahi kahe ami avatar. Avatar will never say he is avatar. Now, how do you know a person is an avatar of the Lord? How do you know he's avatar or avatari? How do you know he's an avatar? What is the proof? Based on what you say he's an avatar?
Scripture. Shastra, Mataji.
Shabda Praman, Shastra.
Shastra. So Shastra, so it has to be given in the Shastra, right? The Vedic has to say about when Guru, Sadhus and Shastras. That's the three Praman we have, right? Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Ramananda Rai, you are jubilant at hearing these poetic expressions, but I am ashamed to hear them. For people in general will joke about the subject of this verse. Ramananda Rai said, instead of joking, people in general will feel great pleasure in hearing such poetry. For the initial remembrance of the worshipable deity invokes good fortune. Ramananda Rai inquired, by which subdivision of style do the prayers enter? Rūpa Gosvāmī then began to speak specifically about this subject. While dancing on the stage after having killed the ruler of the uncivilized men, Kamsa, Lord Krishna, master of all arts, will at the proper time accept the hand of Srimati Radharani, who is qualified with all transcendental attributes. This introduction is technically called Udgat Yaga, and whose scene is called Virti. You are so expert in dramatic expression that each of my statement before you is like a wave from an ocean of infinite. To explain an unclear word, men generally join it with other words. Such an attempt is called Udgat Yaga. These are all grammars. And when Ramananda Rai requested Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī to speak further about various portions of the play, Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī briefly quoted his Lalita Madhava. The dust from the cows and calves on the road creates a kind of darkness, indicating that Krishna is returning home from the pasture. Also, the darkness of evening provokes the gopis to meet Krishna. Thus, the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis are covered by a kind of transcendental darkness and are therefore impossible for ordinary scholars of the Vedas to see it. So, what is that darkness that covers Krishna's Leela to the ordinary scholars? What is it called?
Yogamaya.
Yes. Yogamaya. So, Yogamaya, the internal potency. Mahamaya. Yes, it's Mahamaya which is covering the ordinary scholars, and Yogamaya covers the devotees. Okay, thank you, Brajesh Prabhu. So the Yogamaya is actually covering the devotees of the Lord. When Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, now nobody knows he is Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality Godhead. The Bhakshan Leela, Yogamaya immediately covers. But for the ordinary scholars, it's actually Mahamaya covering them. The darkness is Mahamaya. It's almost same. I have given the example. It's like a nail. The nail just comes, it's touching your flesh, but the nail which comes out where you cut or paint and everything, that is like the Mahamaya, the external part. And this is Yogamaya. So Yogamaya only, but it becomes externally, it comes as Mahamaya. It's the same one. May the sweet sound of Lord Krishna's flute, his authorized messenger, be glorified, for it expertly released Srimati Radharani from her shyness and attract her from her home to the forest. Why? Is there any specialty why Krishna is having the flute? Why Krishna doesn't have any other instrument? But why did he choose flute? Does anyone know? Why flute? What's the specialty of the flute? Yeah, it's hollow. So that means it's hollow. That means there's inside nothing. That's not duplicity. That means it's simple. It's simple. The flute is simple. It's hollow. And how many holes will be there on the top of the flute? How many?
6.
6.
7.
So there are 6. What are the 6?
7.
6. 6. Somebody's having a bad background sound. Not 8, 6. Okay, so 6 holes on the on top of the flute. That means the 6 anarthas, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya have just gone from the flute. So that's also one thing. That, as Prabhu said, it's a simple instrument. It's hollow inside. That means there's no duplicity. It's very simple, and it doesn't have any anarthas. And that's why Krishna takes it as a because Krishna is simple. He likes a simple instrument, and that's a flute. And based on the different occasion, it's called different. There's like Murali, there's Basuri, and Krishna plays different tones on different for different people. Like the 5th tone is for gopis, and 6th, then like all 8 different tones for cows. Calling cows, there's different tone. For gopas, is different tone. Not like that. My dear friend, who's a fearless young man, he is as bright as the light pink cloud. He wanders in his pastimes like a maddened elephant. From where has he come to Vrindavana? Alas, by his restless movements and attractive glances, is plundering from the vault of my heart the treasure of my patience. Srimati Radharani is the Ganges in which the elephant of my mind enjoys pastime. She is the shining of the full autumn moon for the chakora birds of my eyes. She is the dazzling ornament, the bright and beautiful arrangement of stars on the border of the sky of my chest. Now today I have gained Srimati Radharani because of the highly elevated state of my mind. After hearing this, Sri Ramananda Rai submitted at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The super excellence of Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī's poetic expression began to praise it as if he had thousands of mouths. Now Rūpa Gosvāmī said this, right? So what did Rūpa Gosvāmī say about the Krishna Nama? Krishna. How many, Rūpa Gosvāmī made a statement, bro? This Krishna Nam is so attractive that he wished to have how many mouths and how many ears?
Mouths.
Millions.
Thousands of mouths.
Millions, not thousands, millions. He likes to have millions of ears and millions of mouths so that he can chant and hear the glories of the Lord. Sri Ramananda Rai said, this is not a poetic presentation. It's a continuous shower of nectar. Indeed, it is the essence of all ultimate realizations appearing in the form of bliss. The wonderful descriptions of Rūpa Gosvāmī are superb arrangements to express loving affairs. Here then will plunge the heart and ears of everyone into a whirlpool of transcendental bliss. What is the use of a bowman's arrow or a poet's poetry if they penetrate the heart but do not cause the head to spin? Without your mercy, such poetic expressions would be impossible for an ordinary living being to write. My guess is that you have given him the power. So unless you get the power from Krishna, right? Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Hua Parivartan. So that's what it is said. Tumara Shakti Vina Jive Re Nahi Vani. Tumi Shakti Diya Kaho Na Hene Anumani. So Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Hua Parivartan. Unless they are empowered by Krishna, there's no changes happening. So that's why we say Srila Prabhupada is an empowered Acharya, empowered by Krishna. Otherwise, he couldn't have established his God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I met Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī at Prayag, the Shashamada Ghat. He attracted and satisfied me because of his qualities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised the metaphors and other literary ornaments of Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī's transcendental poetry. Without such poetic attributes, he said, there is no possibility of preaching transcendental mellows. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all his personal associates to bless Rūpa Gosvāmī so that he might continuously describe the pastimes of Vrindavan, which are full of emotional love of Godhead. So this is what we need, blessings from the senior Vaishnavas. If we don't get the blessings of our Shiksha Gurus and the senior Vaishnavas, then we can't progress in devotional life. We can't. This is what is the quality we need, the mercy and the blessings from the Vaishnavas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Srila Rūpa Gosvāmī's elder brother, whose name is Sanatana Gosvāmī, is such a wise and learned scholar that no one is equal to him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, Sanatana Gosvāmī, this is glorifying of Vaishnava. Sanatana Gosvāmī's renunciation of material connection is just like yours. Humility, renunciation, excellent learning exist in him simultaneously. I empowered both of these brothers to go to Vrindavan to expand the literature of Bhakti. So Mahaprabhu personally empowered Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī. That's why they were able to write Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Updeshamrita and all that. Sri Ramananda Rai replied to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you like, you can cause even a wooden doll to dance. And this is what Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada in Jaladuta, he also said this. Nachao, nachao, Prabhu nachao. No, just make me dance as you like. I'm just a puppet in your hand. I'm like a doll. So make me dance. So even we are like dolls, but we are in the hands of Maya. The three modes are binding us. But Prabhupada was in the hands of Krishna. Krishna made him dance as he liked. Like he became an instrument. I see that the truths regarding transcendental mellows that you expounded through my mouth are all explained in the writings of Sri Rūpa. Because of your costless mercy towards your devotees, you want to describe the transcendental pastimes of Vrindavan. Anyone empowered to do this can bring the entire world under your influence. So it's a costless mercy. There's no cost for the mercy, it just flows. Okay, like a mother's love for the child. Whatever the child do, even inside the womb, the child kicks the mother. Does the mother do something back? Or the child do a lot of urine and stool passes on her lap. Does this mother do anything? And is she expecting anything in return when she makes the child grow? No, that's unconditional love for the mother, right? So like when thousands of mothers' loves are put together, that's Krishna's love, it is said. So it's costless. We don't deserve, but still he gives. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Rūpa Gosvāmī and asked him to offer prayers at the lotus feet of all the devotees present. This is what taking blessings from the Vaishnavas. Advaitacharya, Nityananda Prabhu, and all other devotees showed their costless mercy to Rūpa Gosvāmī by embracing him in return. Seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy towards Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī and seeing his personal qualities, all the devotees were struck with wonder. They were not knowing this is Rūpa Manjari, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Srimati Radharani and Krishna together. Then when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left with all his devotees, Haridas Thakur also embraced Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī. Haridas Thakur told him, there is no limit to your good fortune. No one can understand the glories of what you have described. So limit for your good fortune. When will the good fortune comes? When we become devotees of the Lord. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī said, I do not know anything. The only transcendental words I utter are those which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes me speak. So this is what every speaker or every preacher of Krishna conscious movement should think, that it's not we who speaks. It's actually the Guru Parampara. It's the Lord in our heart as Paramatma making us speak. The Lord can make us forget things. He can also make us remember things. No, so it's Him who is speaking. We are just an instrument. We actually don't know anything. It's actually the Lord who's introducing us. Although I'm the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the Lord has mercifully bestowed upon me the inspiration to write transcendental literature about devotion service. Therefore, I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality Godhead, who have given me the chance to write these books. So this is the humility of a Vaishnava. What does Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says about himself? What is the extent of his humility? What will he say? Yes, Manasi.
Nataji, he is the lowest of men, and though that the person who will take his name will be very sinful, like that he said.
Yeah, one more. He says, I am lower than the. Someone knows? I am lower than the
blade of grass.
Worm in the stool.
Sharmila Mataji, worm in the stool. That's what he says. I am lower than the worm in the stool. Worm in the stool, actually, that's the lowest form of life you can ever have. Just imagine you have to live in such a filthy place. But even in that worm in the stool, Krishna comes as Paramatma. Just imagine Krishna's mercy. Know how he comes. But then because of some bad karma, they become the worm. And that's a most sinful person can become the worm in the stool. Does anyone know who becomes a worm in the stool? Which sin? After committing what sin they become worm in the stool? It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto.
Who takes the wealth of the temple.
Hari Bol. Who is this? Sai Krishna Prabhu. Very well. Yes, that's what. That's that person. Whoever takes the wealth of the temple. I mean, you donate to the temple, or something happens that you try to steal from the temple. That's Krishna's property or Krishna's things. Whatever is being has to be used in Krishna's service. If you steal it and then use it for your sense gratification, or even loot the wealth of Brahmanas, or whatever is used in Krishna service, if you, especially in the temple, then what happens? It's given in Bhagavatam that you will become worm in the stool. It's such a sinful activity that's the punishment that's given. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, I am the lower than the worm in the stool. That's the humility. He didn't really mean it. He is actually a Goswami, Manjari. But that's his humility, the level of humility. In this way, Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī passed his time in close association with Haridas Thakur by discussing the pastimes of Lord Krishna in great happiness. This is what pure devotees do. See, discussing the pastimes in great happiness. Madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. So they start enjoying the pastimes with great happiness. You can't describe this to non-devotees, no? Nobody, Krishna stealing butter, they just listen like this and they get bored. But the devotees, again and again, they feel with great happiness, they enjoy the pastime of the Lord. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they spent 4 months with him. Then the Lord bade them farewell and returned to Ganga. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī, however, stayed at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when the Dola Yatra festival took place, he saw it in great happiness with the Lord. After the Dola Yatra festival ended, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Rūpa Gosvāmī also. The Lord empowered him and bestowed upon him all kinds of mercy. Empowered. So this is empowered. Shakti Avesha. Okay, can someone say an example of Shakti Avesha avatar of the Lord? Who is the Shakti Avesha avatar example? Yes.
Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada.
Huh?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Prithu Maharaj.
And Rishabh.
Prithu Maharaj. Okay, Prithu Maharaj. Yeah, Veda Vyas also is said. Yeah, all gurus are actually, the acharyas are also empowered by the Lord. Yeah, even Parashuram, right? Yes. So empowered by the Lord and bestowed all kind of mercy. Dole Yatra, I'm not sure. I think they just play that role. Yes, Prabhupada is definitely an empowered personality, Shakti Avishavatar. Okay. Now go to Vrindavan and stay there. The Lord said, you may send here your elder brother Sanatan. So this is the personal instruction which he got, the Goswamis. Go to Vrindavan and just not to stay there simply, to write books, to excavate the lost pastime places of Krishna, to establish deity worship, right? And to establish Vaishnava etiquette. So when you go to Vrindavan, stay there, preach, and write transcendental literature and excavate the holy places. So this is the 4 orders which the Goswamis got, Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī. Vrajaye irasa shastra kariha nirupana lukta tirtha sabatahan kariha pracharana. So these are the things we should say, that you should have to preach the transcendental literature, write them and preach, excavate the lost holy places. So what do? The Rūpa Gosvāmī, Sanatana Gosvāmī, they chant Sankhya Purvaka Nama. So they keep chanting. You can raise your digital hand, those who went to Vrindavan. Did you see the japa beads of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sanatana Gosvāmī in their Samadhi? Rūpa Gosvāmī Samadhi is in Radha Damodar temple, and Sanatana Gosvāmī is in Radha Madan Mohan temple. Did you see their beads? Nobody saw? It's so huge, big beads. It's not like ours. I really don't know how did they chant, but then it's so big tulsi beads. And that will be kept near their samadhi. If you go, you should sit there and chant at least 1 round. It's so peaceful to sit there, and it's a samadhi, they are there. So the Goswamis are there. So you should, devotees do kirtan there and they dance in front of the samadhi, and it's so peaceful to be there. So there it is said that so what they do, they go to these places like Shamakund, Radhakund, and different pastime places of Krishna, and then sit there in Govardhan and they chant. So when they chant, they are manjaris. They were already in the Leela, in the Dwapara Yuga. So they chant in Kali Yuga, and by Krishna's costless mercy, Radharani's mercy, the pastime just reveals to them, and they write it. And they find out the different places, because whenever they go, they feel the ecstasy there, and they know this is that place, this is the place. And that's how the present Vrindavan came. And that's how we do parikrama and everything. So establish the service of Lord Krishna. So first instruction was to preach transcendental literature and to excavate the lost places. Second was to establish the service of Lord Krishna. That means deity worship, and preach the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. Then I shall also go to Vrindavan once more. Okay, so establish the service of Lord Krishna. Which temple was established by Rūpa Gosvāmī? About the 6 Goswami temples in Vrindavan.
One was the Madan Mohan by Sanatana Gosvāmī, na?
I asked Rūpa Gosvāmī.
Radha Govinda.
Govinda. Yeah. So it's Radha Govinda. And what about Radha Raman?
Jiva Gosvāmī.
Jiva Gosvāmī established by who? For whom Jiva Gosvāmī later on worshipped? For whom he appeared?
Gopal
Bhatta Goswami, yes, from the Damodar Shila. Yes, okay. So establishing the service. So if you go to Vrindavan, you have to visit these 6 Goswami temples, very important temples: Radha Govinda, Gopinatha, Madan Mohan, Radha Raman, all that. So this is important, the 6 main temples. So to establish services. So they are the one who taught us deity worship and preach the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. Okay. Having thus spoken, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Rūpa Gosvāmī, who then placed the lotus feet of the Lord upon his head. Okay. So lotus feet of that means taking the dhuli, the pada dhuli of the Lord. This is again taking mercy. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī took leave of all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and returned to Vrindavan by the path through Bengal. Thus, I have described the second meeting of Rūpa Gosvāmī and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone, this is Shruti Pala, who hears of this incident will certainly attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rūpa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadasa, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. So we get the shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is like very difficult, but then very easy also. Right? Very easy because he doesn't see patra, apatra, dekhe, na dekhe, sthana, asthan. He doesn't see whether you're qualified or not. No, he forcefully, I give you the example, like a rich man comes and forcefully give you some money. You'll be like, no, I have money. I don't want. But still he pushes the money into your pocket and it's like, keep it as a pocket money. So even if you don't want Krishna Prema, he gives you. Because it is said, Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya, Hema Buddhivyacha Visundaraya, Tasmai Mahaprema Sapradaya, Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste, Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. He gives you Krishna Prema. Okay, so only Krishna Prema can be given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself could not give. So that's what, because he is a combined form of Srimati Radharani. So this Gaura Purnima, let's meditate on Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's costless mercy about all these pastimes and pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us some bit of Krishna Prema, and even hearing about Rūpa Gosvāmī, because Rūpa Gosvāmī is none other than Rūpa Manchari, who is always there in the pastime of Radha Krishna, along with the Sakis, Lalita, Vishaka and all that. You've seen the paintings, the Radha Krishna and all the Ashta Sakis. Along with that, there will be some Manchari, small girls, who will hold all these flower pots and everything for their pastime purpose. So these are the Mancharis, so Rūpa Gosvāmī, and we've come in his parampara. So we can pray to Rūpa Gosvāmī also to give us another the 6 Goswamis, the Shad Goswamis has to be prayed. We have to pray to them to give their mercy so that we can advance in Krishna consciousness. He said, Priya Swarupe, Daida Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajan Gurupe, Nijana Rupe, Pravareka Rupe, Tadana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe. So it's about Rūpa Gosvāmī saying that Rūpa Gosvāmī is the most merciful and Rūpa Gosvāmī can give us Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he got the mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write Nectar of Devotion and all those books. And okay, so that's why it's very important to follow the footsteps of Rūpa Gosvāmī. We'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll see the chastisement of Junior Haridas. So this is a nice story, this pastime where how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows how strict he is with brahmacharis. Because Junior Haridas, this is not the Haridas Chakur, okay? The Bada Haridas and Junior Haridas, this is Chota Haridas. This is another Haridas who was a brahmachari and how he had lusty feeling towards female and how Mahaprabhu punished him and what prayashchita he did and then what happened to Chota Haridas. We'll see tomorrow. So, okay. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says each ashrama is very important to be a brahmachari, to be a grihastha and all that. And then, okay, so this we can see tomorrow. Any questions? Hare Krishna. For today, how can we end here? Yes, Manasvi.
Yes, Mataji. If we think about Krishna, we get Krishna at the end of our life. If we think of Radharani at the time of death, which planet will we get?
Goloka Vrindavan. Radharani is only in Goloka. She's not in Vaikunta.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Radharani is always with Krishna. You can't separate. Can you separate sunlight from sun? No. Krishna, Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman, Dui Vastu Vedenahi Shastra Praman. There's evidence from Shastra that Krishna is Shakti, Shaktiman, and Radharani is the Shakti. So one is the electricity and the powerhouse. So they are together. The heat and light is not different from the fire. You can't separate, then it's not fire. So similarly, you can't separate Radha and Krishna. They're always together in Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Nivishati Atilatma Bhuta. Brahma Samhita says Krishna resides eternally in Goloka. So definitely when you think of Radharani, when you think of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you go to Goloka Vrindavan. That's why Prabhupada says Brajavasis are very intelligent because they say Radhe Radhe. They catch hold of Radharani. But we, because the Brajavasis are not normal people, they are all definitely devotees from previous life. to be born in Praja, but we can't imitate them. We have to follow the footsteps of Prabhupada. Even if when, you've gone to Vrindavan, the rickshaw walas also, they don't put horn. They say Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, and then you give way. Everyone, even small children says Radhe Radhe. But Prabhupada never greets them like that. Prabhupada always say in return, Hare Krishna. Okay, so that's Sampradaya, and we have to follow that footsteps. So we go through Radharani definitely through Hare. Okay, and the best way to get Radharani's mercy is by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And the best way to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And best way to get Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is, what's the best way to get Nityananda Prabhu's mercy?
By chanting the holy name.
Spiritual masters mercy.
Spiritual master.
Especially Srila Prabhupada, through the Guru, because he is Guru Tattva. And so Prabhupada is most merciful. Very, very merciful. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll end here. We'll continue tomorrow. Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Manapodi Vaishnavati ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Yes, Prajesh Prabhu, anybody can read Chaitanya Charitamrita before completing Bhagavatam, no problem. There's no, actually for a sincere student, Prabhupada says, complete Bhagavad Gita, that's undergraduate, then systematically read from Canto 1 to Canto 12, Srimad Bhagavatam, that is postgraduate, and then go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, and Antya Leela. That's postgraduate. But we don't have time. Prayana, Alpayusa, Samkhya. So in Kali Yuga, we don't have time. And also it's not wrong, but systematically what you're doing, Srimad Bhagavatam, continue that. Along with that, you can keep reading because it's Gaura Purnima. You can definitely read Chaitanya Charitamrita. No, nothing wrong in it. Prabhupada's books are like sugar candy. You can taste sugar candy from any side. It's sweet. It's not like you have to start from here. But as a systematic student, Prabhupada says, you really want to understand who Krishna is, complete Bhagavatam. But then sometimes it's not possible. So simultaneously start reading, no problem. No, nothing wrong in reading. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Please join morning Mangalarti 4:30, the same link, and 5 o'clock. Please come for the Japa session. Okay, it's so powerful to chant.